we've got Nora DeKeyser from the 3-Day Rule, our game Matchpoint, and the Klique app. Today on It's Complicated.
Powered by Acast.
You're listening to It's Complicated with your hosts Jennifer Golden and Lauren Leonelli, coming to you live from the AfterBuzz TV studios in Los Angeles, California.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of It's Complicated.
The struggle's real when you're dating in the city.
I'm Lauren.
And I'm Jen, and today our drink of the day is white wine because sometimes mismatched people can be whiners.
And we have a dog in the studio.
We do.
Mooch, come here. I'm going to get her.
We have my dog in the studio, guys. We've talked about her. She came all the way from South Korea to be on the show today.
Mooch, get camera ready.
Her name is Mochi because she's delicious, like the dessert.
Look
and
at
that's
her.
the baby.
Say hi, Mochi. That was her paw. Puppies.
So she's going to be running around the studio, so if you hear us talking to a pup in a pup voice, that sometimes sounds like, no.
Because we can't help it. You can't talk to an animal in a normal voice. That's weird.
So weird.
Like, hi, dog, how are you today? No.
No, it's just not going to happen.
No.
So, what a good baby.
And we also think that if you don't like a dog or like whatever, that you can't trust that person. So now that Jen has this dog, when she goes on dates, it's like the first test.
Oh, yeah.
Do you like my dog?
Yeah. If somebody does not rub my dog the right way or take her paw, I'm like, I can't date you. This is just not a match made in heaven. However, my pup is my perfect match because she's lazy and quiet and sleeps a lot like me. Just
oh
kidding.
my gosh, she's so cute. I'm looking at her face. It's just so cute. Okay, so
Anyway.
Today we have Nora DeKeyser. She is a senior matchmaker at the 3-Day Rule. It's a matchmaking service. And we have her in the studio. You guys, the 3-Day Rule, if you don't know, we've talked about them before. And we've had, we interviewed Kate Edwards. Yeah, there are people involved in the 3-Day Rule.
A lot. Mary Stewart, we've talked with.
We've been involved in the 3-Day Rule ourselves. So in case you don't know from our past about the 3-Day Rule, it's a world-class matchmaker service. It provides clients with personalized attention, hand-selected matches, and valuable date coaching. Okay, the 3-Day Rule's matchmakers combine proven matchmaking techniques and cutting-edge technology, so they use like the old and the new to ensure that they introduce you to the best possible matches. Hi, puppies.
And all of the matchmakers come from impressive corporate backgrounds, but they realize their true passion for connecting people and helping singles find lasting love. So they made a big jump over to the matchmaking field, and they're outgoing, inquisitive. They demonstrate relentlessness, dedication to their roles as matchmakers. So they are on it.
They are on it. And the CEO, Talia Goldstein, she founded the 3-Day Rule, and her mission was to create a much more enjoyable, stress-free experience for both men and women. Because, dating, it's stressful. And,
sure is.
We all get that. So they train their matchmakers to ensure that they stay positive, empowering, that everything's personalized, and their approach is like very, very unique, and they want to find you a committed relationship. And here's some of the things they do to make that happen. They are real people who meet you and all of your matches in person. So it's like having a friend. It's not just like some random, like I'm picking a picture and a picture. Like everyone knows everyone. They find potential dates and they ask them hard questions face to face. They want to make sure that they're like ready, that they're not letting any creeps sneak through the cracks. They only introduce you to the most compatible matches. So the likelihood of having a bad first date is a little less. And you go on dates and give them feedback. So the process, everyone's learning, everyone's constantly getting better.
Yeah. And Nora, as we said, is a senior matchmaker there. Mm-hmm. I wonder how many levels there are, like junior, senior, star. I don't know what happens.
And I wonder if it's like how many marriages under your belt, then you're like that person.
Maybe. You're like a samurai of setting up.
I mean.
I would like to be that.
Yes.
So she's originally from Alaska.
Yeah.
She naturally gravitates toward the outdoors, obviously, if you're from Alaska.
Yeah.
She likes snowboarding, fishing, scuba diving. She graduated from Ohio State. She moved to New York to pursue a career in IT staffing, guys. So that just shows you she went from IT staffing to matchmaking.
But staffing, though, is not totally like opposite of like you're finding people.
Right.
In a way.
You have to be able to read people that they're right for the job, they're right for the business, they're right for the company culture.
Yeah.
So she was obviously good at reading people.
Yeah.
And so after successfully managing key accounts, she realized she really liked managing relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So she jumped ship and became a matchmaker. She sounds like somebody we would want to set us up on a date.
Exactly. I think so too.
And we should definitely ask her about me.
Yeah, we need to get into this. And you know, since we're coming off the heels of V-Day, we have our V-Day attire on. I've got a little heart on my Hi, there it is.
And I'm wearing a sweater that says love, and I have my little Valentine next to me.
That's right. Bubbies. So yeah, after, you know, Valentine's Day, it's a little post-Valentine's Day treat. You know, if you're single and your BFF didn't introduce you to your next BF, then we think you need to hit up the 3-day rule, or at least just listen to the advice that you're getting on this show, because if Nora is going to be giving advice about how she like vets people and looks at people, like you can use that for yourself when you're trying to find someone, or maybe trying to set up a friend,
or just go get yourself a dog.
Yeah, or that. You know, in the 3-day rule, matchmakers, they're really down to earth. They're well-rounded. It feels like you can trust their instincts just like your BFF. So whether you're a guy looking to sign up for the services and you need your like best girlfriend to hook it up, or you're a girl that wants to be connected to a great guy from another girl that understands your style and taste, then Nora and the matchmakers of the 3-day rule are probably your ticket to love. I mean, I would think it's like the next best thing. And they're also professionals. So we're going to delve into the process of how the 3-day rules matchmaking works, the benefits of using a matchmaker, and why clients decide to go to the 3-day rule. And we're also going to ask Nora how she gets a read on the men and women she sets up, and how we can take cues from her when looking for a partner. Mochi's right here, don't worry.
Fabulous.
We've got a worried mother in the studio.
Okay.
It's going to be fine.
Yeah, it is.
All right, guys, but before we get Nora in here, of course, we're going to air out our dirty laundry and fill you in on what we've been up to over this past week, because Valentine's Day just happened.
It was a busy week. It started with the Grammy stuff.
Oh my gosh,
and then went like right full force into Valentine's Day. So what have you been up to?
Okay, so my boyfriend's daughter was in a talent show. She wrote and sang her own song. Like, really? Wrote it. It was kind of...
And she's how old? Remind
7.
everyone.
She's
right.
7. And, you know, there was like a beginning, middle, and end. She wrote a story. It was a little, like, it was actually perfect length, but for a song, it was short. It was like 55 seconds or something, or 48 seconds. I think I timed it. But we were sort of trying to encourage her, like, do you want to keep writing more? Do you want to repeat this verse? Like, this is the structure of a song. And she told her dad and I separately, this song came from my heart. This is how I feel, and there's nothing else left to say. I poured it all out. Legit, she said this. I poured it all out. So I don't want to write anymore. I just like threw my hands up in the air. I was like, oh, okay. I mean,
she knows best, apparently.
I think she's the next Lady Gaga. No joke, I swear. We went Valentine's Day shopping. I took her shopping so she could buy things for her dad. And it was, again, had to throw my hands up in the air because she kept picking shirts out. And I'd be like, oh. And she's like, but Lola, she calls me Lola, I like this shirt and I want it to be from me. But not what you're picking out. I want it. I'm like, okay, shit. Like, you got me again, kid. Like, okay. I had to let go of control. We went sledding in Big Bear. It was really fun. We took her there. And we were walking, you know, we went sledding, then we were walking up and down the street. We had some hot chocolate, and she was singing. And just like she walks and sings, and some woman stopped and said, was that you singing? Like, I don't know if she thought it was me or his daughter. And she's like, yeah. And she's like, oh my God, your voice is so good. For a little girl like that, it's like a strong voice. And she was like, thank you. I mean, I don't know. Anyway,
it's great that she's not shy.
And she's not shy about it.
Like, 7-year-olds could go any which way. You have to, like, work on their personality. This one just came with one.
She just came with one and sings her little heart out. And how brave and courageous to write a song that she really was telling about a problem she had. Like, the song was like, I'll figure it out soon. That was like the chorus. Anyway, and Valentine's Day was great. It's the first Valentine's Day I've had in a long time where I've had like a man. And he came over. You're gonna die. We made king crab legs.
Oh man, yummy!
I know. And
how romantic.
Yeah, we made food and like chocolate fondue was the dessert. And like we gave each other presents and we got each other the same present. We got little things, but coffee mugs because we make like coffee in the morning.
Oh.
We wake up really early, like every morning, and like make coffee. It's like, anyway, it was cute. And he wrote me a really nice card. It was nice.
Aw, swoon.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. You deserve a great Valentine's Day after 11 years of not having one. So,
Yeah.
lucky 11.
Muggy wasn't my Valentine for well, no, he was. That's a lie.
They were both your Valentine, especially because you were at your house, right?
Yeah, Muggy was there.
Well, there you go. So I started last weekend with a girls' night in, was with two girlfriends.
That's different than a girls' night out.
Right.
That's a GNI.
We were in.
GNI.
Exactly. And so it was weird because it was a full moon that night. It was a full moon
yeah.
with like a lunar eclipse with like another thing.
And a comet.
Yeah. It was like the trifecta of crazy. Like it was the weirdest week for a lot of people. It was just bananas.
It was a weird
and
week.
The odd thing was the last time the three of us were together was a full moon. And it was in October. And it was like a very weird time. And like to have come full circle. And the three of us like realized like, oh my God, the last time we were all together was this weird time in all of our lives.
Ooh, why does that draw you together?
I don't know. And we were like, wow, this is meant to be. So we had an interesting night together and talked a lot about what was going on in our lives. So it was really nice. Then the next day, I don't know. I don't even remember what happened Saturday. But Sunday, I went to like a boozy brunch with my aunt. Had a lovely morning. Then went on a hike with our friend and his pup, who's a boy, who we were trying to set up with Mochi, but I don't know if that's going to work out. She wasn't that into him, and then she was, and then she ignored him, and he was really into her. It was like a game. I was like,
it was like any relationship we've ever
It was very
seen.
complicated. So we just kept on hiking. Okay. Then actually,
you'll figure it out soon.
Totally. I like the song. Then there was, Galentine's Day for me because I didn't have a Valentine other than Mochi, but went with two girlfriends to dinner, had like a French dinner, then went and saw 50 Shades Darker, which was horrendous.
Okay.
It was... Like, I thought The Bachelor season has been bad, but this was, like, a million times worse. Ugh. It was just, like, laughable. Like, I was actually laughing out loud, like, during very serious moments.
Right.
Because the way this movie is structured is, like, 3 lines of dialogue, intense sex scene, 3 lines of dialogue, sex scene. And the sex scenes are all the same, but they're in, like, different places using a different prop. But it's the same exact, like, format. And it's really, like, risque. Like, you see some things and you're just like,
Did you see her vagina?
No, but you see him going like very near that, and like it looks like porn. Like it's just.
Did you see his peen?
No, trust me when I say it's inappropriate.
It's like almost insertion.
Yeah, and you're like, I don't know that I signed up to watch porn today. I thought I was going to this like movie to find out what happens in their love story. Well, they don't actually talk about it because they say 3 words and then do sex again. So like there are moments where it's like I'm like invested and I want to know why this was so hard for him or why he can't be touched here, and then like she draws with lipstick like his boundaries where he cannot be touched because it hurts his emotions too much, and it's like fake emotions all over the place. It's just weird. Anyway, don't see it. I'm just sorry. Don't waste your time.
I've never even seen the first one.
Well, the first one I thought was terrible, but it was actually better than this one.
Brutal.
And there's a third one that's going to come out, and it's like, why?
No.
So anyway, then I went on a date last night, and I was actually set up with this person through someone at the 3-day roll. Now, it had all of the recipe for success. It was like on paper he sounded great, and I'm sure maybe I sounded great to him, but then in person it just went awry.
Okay, when Nora gets in here, we'll talk about that more.
Yeah. Anyway, so we'll figure out what went wrong with that not so perfect match. But we actually did go to the Grammys backstage gifting lounge before the weekend started to gear up for the Grammys. They do all these like gifting suites throughout the city.
Yeah, you guys. And when we walked in, we were hit with this new Nun Wines, I think it's called. It's Blue Nun 24 karat gold edition. Delicious, sparkling wine. So here's some pictures you guys are seeing. Like this was like the big product at the gifting suite. They were, they're like products to help like rejuvenate skin, and it's
like a rolly device that actually like has like electromagnetic I don't know what.
I don't know what. But
Rifa Clear was what that was.
Yeah, the Nun wines are like our favorite. It's sparkling wine with gold, 24 karat gold flecks in it. Like if you've ever had Goldschlager or whatever. Like in wine. How did no one ever fucking think of this yet?
How did I not think of it? My last name's
understand.
Golden. It's like made for me.
It is made for you. Anyway, so that was our favorite. There was the breathable foundation, which was
Oxygenetics.
Yeah.
Where it's,
it covers, but it's like not going to like suffocate your skin and clog your pores.
No, or look cakey,
Yeah.
and it's like it actually helps skin by like multiplying collagen cells and connective tissue growth and aging and wounded skin.
Yeah.
And then there was the Gold Leaf Gourmet desserts.
Oh my God, those
which
were
again
good. Yeah.
were our favorite. We would
Yeah.
pair that sparkling wine with the gold with the gold
Date
desserts.
night.
Date night. Talk about Valentine's date night.
Talk about gold and everything.
Yeah, exactly. This is my kind of thing.
And the Lauren Ashton.
Well, real fast though, the gourmet desserts are actually like a kit that you order and comes to your house, and it tells you how to make the things. It gives you the supplies, and you can actually prepare the desserts at your house and
you
present
make
them.
They give you like cute little like
Toppers.
already cut like little shapes that you put on it. Looks like you have like some Wolfgang Puck Oscar dessert or something. It's so great.
Like I love the convenience of having things sent to my house, and then like Blue Apron or like things like that where you can prepare it at home, but like they send you all the ingredients. So this is just so convenient.
And it's fun to do that with somebody. So then the Lauren Ashton hair toppers are awesome too. They're like the Halo hairpiece, but they're like, they give you volume. They're wonderful. And then the Turtle Travel pillows, which we saw last year at some Oscar gifting suites. They're really great. Look them up because you put them on your neck when you're on a plane, and there's like a prop, and it like props your head up so that
It's like a scarf almost
It's
that
amazing.
has like a piece in it that you rest your head on. So it's
so
like
good.
You could just be anywhere and all of a sudden take a nap.
Take a nap.
Because who doesn't want to take a nap?
All right, guys, we are going to rush into our celebrity news, and we're going to pack up our emotional baggage and meet these celebrities in baggage claim, because
Derek Jeter and his wife Hannah are expecting a baby girl who, I guess Derek wants to name a certain name, but Hannah's like, no, that's not her name yet. Stop calling her that.
Yeah.
No, they're like the cutest couple ever, though. They want they want their children, that are coming into this life of privilege just because they're being born to these two parents,
Right.
to actually be great people. They want them to learn to give back, to help other people. They want them to call their dad, and just to know him as dad, and to have a very special piece of his life, which is him being their father. He's all these things. He's a great baseball player, but he is their dad, and that's what no one else has. Is him being their father. Unless maybe there are people out there that actually do have him as their father.
and that could, based on his track record, that might be a very large possibility.
He dated, Jessica Biel, Mariah Carey,
Vanessa Manillo.
when she was Manillo, because she was single then, so it was okay that she dated him.
Well, yes, of
Now
course.
she's
but
married.
I just know that I feel like he
got around.
He's a baseball player. Okay. And you guys, we are going to do a little prediction here. We are going to guess who's getting engaged next, because we're putting our odds on probably Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. She's been married before. So I feel like, does that make you more ready or less ready? I don't know, but I feel like they could be next. He needs to pop the question, and we need a royal wedding here.
Oh yeah, it's been some time.
Could you imagine?
And it's like the next Grace Kelly, because she's being plucked from Hollywood and put in royal family. But also they've been meeting the families and doing more of these public outings together. And if you're that kind of couple and you're doing those things, you're obviously taking it seriously. But then there's Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani, who we thought would be a publicity stunt, but they're doing the mixed family thing.
They're totally in it.
And they are doing songs together, and it's a whole thing, and they're still kicking.
They're still going strong. And Bradley Cooper and Irina Shayk, I don't even know how to say her name.
Irina Shayk,
whatever.
maybe?
Who cares?
They're a prego.
And so we feel like that's going to be happening soon. We think those are the top three, but maybe the people who are kind of getting a little more ready, like Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom. I forgot that they were even still together.
Me too. I actually thought they had broken up, but apparently they're just kind of doing a real relationship, low key, planning each other's birthdays, hanging out with his son, and so maybe they're gonna get engaged sometime in the near future.
Yeah, I think so. And what about Olivia Munn and Aaron Rodgers? They've been going for this
It's
for
been
a while.
3 years,
Yeah.
and she's actually been seen wearing a ring, but then has to say, like, no, it's not an engagement ring. It's actually just like a ring that it can't fit on my other finger because I am swollen, and so now I have to put it on my ring finger, which is a coincidence.
And Ryan Gosling and Ava Mendes, they have 2 kids together. Are they going to ever do this? I don't know.
Maybe they're already married. I feel like they probably would be.
Probably.
Like, Jay-Z and Beyonce were married and no one knew.
Nobody knew. And like there's a wild card like Khloe Kardashian, Tristan Thompson. I feel like maybe she gets married real quick. Maybe she's next.
I mean, it has been 6 months, which is very long for her.
Yeah, you guys. Also, the next Bachelorette.
Okay, so she's black. And so this is like the first time
And like
ever.
the fact that we have to like even say that is just fucking stupid.
No, but
whatever.
I mean, I guess we're gonna like just we're gonna celebrate the accomplishments and the change that has happened. So
Yeah.
A fucking Bachelor's been on the air for God knows how long, since before we were
75
born.
seasons.
Yeah, at this point. So the fact that she is a black Bachelorette is different. It's like when we had a black president. So
Totally.
maybe things will start changing. So this is weird though because they've announced it. And there's still 6 girls left on the show.
And so we know clearly she's not the one that gets picked. And
No, and Reality Steve, who we've interviewed, actually predicted this, released that she was going to announce it on Jimmy Kimmel. It all happened. So
Yeah.
he's pretty spot on.
he is pretty
Gotta
spot
love
on.
that
Now
guy.
we know who wins the Bachelorette, and I really just can't even.
Oh, this season is so terrible. I'm ready for it to be done.
Oh my
Plus,
God,
I already looked up who won.
Yeah. Oh,
But anyway.
whoopsie, sorry.
Whoopsie, cat's out of the bag. It's a terrible
It's
season.
so
and
horrible.
No one cares. And you know what? I actually think knowing who's going to win is almost more fun because then you see in each episode, now you're like dissecting what he's
you
really
might as
doing.
Well, yeah, you might as well know because fuck, it's like the same
No
fucking
one
show
cares.
over and over again. Okay, and
But
also,
then, actually, guys, those 5 girls who are left are forming a clique, and like they're trying to help each other get through this last bit of the season.
ain't nobody effing with that clique because they're probably they're gonna be single after all this, and they're gonna go on the Klique app, guys. Yes, it's a dating app based on the concept of a group hang, like a clique.
Exactly, something that I would actually appreciate because stranger danger. So if you have your clique, the guy has his clique, you match through Facebook, and then you actually like your cliques match up through an algorithm, and then you all go out together. It's like a grouper, but it's just called Klique, and it's group dating, so you don't have to feel weird going out just like solo.
And then that way, like you sort of gravitate towards someone in person more organically, which I think is great.
Totally into it. We'll give it a shot. We try that out. We as me, because I'm the guinea pig always.
And because today we're talking about friends and how, a matchmaker is like a friend, it's like a BFF, we're going to listen to a little I'll Be There For You by the Rembrandts.
Yeah.
The song reminds us of a simpler time when you had to be home by 7 p.m. every Thursday to watch Friends. There were no DVRs, there were no dating apps, there were no swiping.
And you could actually date your friends.
Good old-fashioned fun with your friends. So take a listen and remember the good old days, and cheers to the friends that get you through the tough times, because we're about to get Nora in here and ask us how she could be our BFF and hook us up with a guy and how she becomes people's friends. So we're going to pour her some wine. We're going to let her pet the dog. Hi, Nora.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, we're so excited. That's Mochi.
Hi, Mochi.
That's our mascot. we have some wine for you because, who doesn't want to hang out with their BFF and drink some wine?
I know. I was about to say I want to hang out with you guys every morning and drink some wine.
Well, you're welcome
Yes.
to join us anytime you want.
Who cares that it's like earlier than it should be for Chardonnay? For what
It's
are we drinking?
breakfast. We're drinking Chardonnay.
See
Cupcake
to the name.
because-
Good for you.
Right, because cupcake, so it's like a cupcake without the calories, but it's like different calories. It's just
Right. It's fun calories.
Worth it calories.
It's worth it. Right, we like to drink our calories.
Does
so,
a cupcake make you feel like magic? Fuck no. Does Chardonnay? Yes.
Exactly, and it's like for Valentine's Day, because like who doesn't want a cupcake on Valentine's Day?
I mean,
so.
Exactly.
It's all coming full circle. So thank you for joining us.
Yes.
I actually had a 3-day rule date last night.
Oh, you did?
I
need to
did.
talk about
Okay.
it.
So we're going to talk about it at some
Right.
point, but first tell us how you even became a matchmaker.
Yes.
I started out as a recruiter for most of the major banks. And absolutely loved it.
We're going to drink to that.
How many great guys did you run into in that job? Did you hang out in what's that area called in New York? The Stone Street.
Stone Street. Yeah,
Did you?
definitely. That
Yeah.
was a good happy hour spot.
I used to
in
hang out
Financial
there
District.
on purpose because bankers.
Call us. I'm still looking for Mr. Big, and I just don't think he exists in LA.
He exists. I promise you, he does exist. But yeah, so I used to work in recruiting, and I kind of was essentially matching my managing director with people that would work well with him and kind of figuring out that personality and what would work well. And I realized I didn't really have that much of a passion for JP Morgan's back-end infrastructure installment.
Did you ever
That wasn't your favorite
Why
thing
you
ever?
didn't want to hang out with Sonia Morgan on a
Definitely
yacht?
not. Definitely not. And I found this company and kind of read the job description. And I was like, that is my dream job. I do it every day kind of naturally.
Yeah.
But if I could do this for a living, why not try it out? And I've been with them for a long time.
So then that moved you to LA?
So I worked for them in New York for a while,
Oh, right.
and then just switched over to LA to kind of see how it works over here as well.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think about, LA versus New York?
The difference?
Yeah.
I've been wanting to write a blog post or even a book about this. There's so many differences in terms of women and men and just the dating in general.
So different, I think, too.
To quickly talk about it, I think people are quicker to meet up in New York, and
Yes.
they actually meet. They don't flake.
I've been saying this the
when they
whole
get there,
time.
when they say
Yeah.
they'll be there on Thursday at 9, they'll be there on Thursday at 9.
Yep.
Here, I just hear so many stories of people flaking and then getting there an hour and a half late. I understand we have traffic, but
Well, that's like grossly
I think
late.
there's also a
But
mentality with LA.
I think that I had this experience dating in New York when I lived there. Like you get off the app so much faster there, and this was a couple years ago. But still, like I would match with someone on an app, and hours later I'd meet them out.
Oh yeah.
Here it's like you have to fucking text for 3 motherfucking weeks, and then
You
you're
have
like,
a pen
what
pal
are we
just
doing?
to lock in a date 3 Thursdays from now, and then you might remember that you actually had that date,
Right.
or both of you think the other's going to flake, so you
Right.
actually just don't even
So
go.
this is factual evidence. Dating in New York happens faster than in LA.
Yeah.
Every
Everyone
single
says
person
that.
says it. It happens.
And I'm glad for the men out there listening to this that women want to meet as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the number one complaint I hear from men in LA is, oh, these women want to talk and blah, blah, blah. They don't want to meet me. So men out there, listen to us. We do want to meet you as soon as possible.
And
So-
if you're like reaching out to a matchmaking service like the 3-day rule, at least we know here like that feels more serious. Like
Yeah.
you want to meet someone.
You're
So
paying for it. You're interested. You're
Yeah.
going through the whole rigmarole to
Yes.
get there. But I will say this: as far as New York goes, there's a strong sense of urgency on the East Coast that there does not exist on the West Coast. Here, people may commit to plans. There's the most non-committal group of people in the whole wide world.
Totally.
And yes, the traffic, sure, but if you want to be somewhere, you be there, and you have ways, and you got tools, you have a car.
Yep.
This is not a commuter city. There was not a train accident. You have a
Right.
car. Get there.
Right.
There's Uber. There's a million ways to transport yourself anywhere.
Yeah.
So.
yeah, the sense of urgency here, it's just more like lackadaisical. New York, it's like more fast-paced.
But I think because of the sense of urgency in New York, it takes away the premise that people are desperate, because it's more just I'm going to fit you in because I have
Right.
time right now.
Right.
You have time right now. Let's make it happen right now.
Yeah.
And we're on the move. In LA, people have this oh, well, if I meet them too soon, I'm desperate. Or
Yep.
well, I'm not going to ask for a Friday or a Saturday because that's just saying that I have nothing going on. What?
Or
Just
what if-
go. It's a priority.
What if something better comes up on Friday? I
Right.
don't want to commit
Right.
to the everyone here is just oh my god, your dog.
That's my match right there.
He's so cute.
Moch, you good girl.
Well, she
Okay.
came all the way from South Korea, so she's got to get a lot of love.
Started from Korea, now she here.
Exactly. So, okay, you're now at the 3-day rule. What makes the 3-day rule different from other matchmakers? We've interviewed different ones.
Yeah.
And so we want to know from your mouth, what makes you guys different?
I think the biggest difference that we have is how large we are. Our database is extremely massive, and people
It
sign
includes
up.
me.
Yes, and people sign up every single day.
I was there too.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we're really kind of back to basic matchmaking, meeting with everyone in person, really getting to know you, your energy, what you're looking for, and making sure that fit is going to be a good match. And I think that in-person value and how much we care about our clients and how much time we spend with each client is really what makes us a lot different than the other services out there.
Yeah, it's like that's like what we're kind of talking about. It's almost like you're becoming friends with
Oh,
both
yeah.
sides, so that then you feel like you can really make a legit connection, because everyone wants to I mean, I guess some people are fine with meeting on an app or whatever. I don't really care how it would happen, I guess. But it feels good when a friend is a really good friend, or someone you know and trust is I think there's someone that you should meet.
Oh, yeah.
They're vetting both sides.
Totally.
And they take the guesswork out for you. For me, when we talk about dating apps, and I will get into how you feel about them, I'm meeting a perfect stranger that I can't gauge the chemistry with through an app. Yes, we can have witty banter, sure. Yes, we both write that we like dogs, wine, and hiking. Okay, awesome. Okay, but you also didn't write you're a serial killer, and I didn't write that I like watch Hallmark movies. Like maybe it just doesn't match up 100%.
I love how everyone was awful and she watches Hallmark movies.
Like you're a killer and I watch Hallmark movies. It's because I love and you just want to kill people, whatever. So, you know, I mean, like there's only so many things you can figure out from swiping right mutually. And I think that when a human being is vetting two people, there's a lot more that can come from that because it takes a lot of the guesswork out.
God,
and there's so much guesswork.
And
matching with one person is like nearly impossible at this point.
Right. We always say it's as if we're being set up by a mutual friend. So I've met with the match in person, I've met with my client in person, and I've truly become best friends with my client.
I love that.
One of my clients in New York, I worked with for a long time. I set up with someone she dated for about 7 months. And then it didn't end up working out, but after her contract, we would still get brunch and drinks and coffee, and I met a guy I'd say about 3 months ago, and I set her up, and they've still been dating. So yeah,
Love.
So it's really important to, when you're looking for a matchmaker, to make sure that you get along with them as well, and kind of have a match there. Because when I'm meeting with potential matches for them, I'm really thinking in the mind of my client.
Sure.
Even if I think, I don't like his style, if my client loves that style, yes, he's a match. I'm so
you've got to take yourself out of it. But it must be so gratifying to be creating relationships for you personally with this friend, and then to create a relationship for her. It's like double whammy.
It is the most gratifying experience ever. I don't even think of it really as a job at this point.
Yeah.
Because when I have a client call me and tell me that they're in an exclusive relationship, that's it. That for my month, for my year, that is the most exciting thing I've heard.
That's so awesome.
It really is. Now, so what is your relationship status?
I'm dating.
Okay.
I'm single, but I am dating around.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Do you, how do you meet people? Are you, being a matchmaker for yourself? Do you let someone else do it? Or
are you on apps?
What do you do?
No, very good question. So I guess for about the first year and a half that I was a matchmaker, I was in a long-term relationship. So I didn't even really think about this at all for myself. Which I think is good.
Yeah.
And then when I became single, I started kind of taking a step back and realizing, wow, I really can empathize with my clients and understand how hard this is, which I think was even more beneficial for me to just kind of get up there beside my clients and understand how it's all going along. But no, I've never set myself up. I kind of do what I tell my own clients to do. Tell your friends, hey, I'm single again. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I value. Tell your friends of friends. Bring me to your networking event. Bring me to your Christmas party. I know there's men at those banks. I used to work there. And set me up. So I kind of do the same thing I tell my clients to do. Keep an open door. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And really just kind of have the energy and put it out there to show that you are excited, you are ready to find love.
Yeah, you've got to be ready at all. If someone, it's a grueling process. If someone's like, come out with me tonight, you don't really want to do it, but you go okay, I need to keep putting myself out there. And it's tiring, but it's the way, it's a numbers game at that point. The more, like you said, diversifying yourself, obviously you guys aren't just use the 3-day rule. You tell your clients to talk to their friends too. That's realistic.
Yeah, because you just never know what's going to stick. So for you, do you use the apps at all, or?
I don't, and I think it's just because I'm partnered with all the apps for 3-day rule, so I'm really on there. I'm there for work, and I'm looking for my clients. I bet you anything, if I saw someone that was a good fit for me and it hit me right in between the head, I wouldn't even realize, because I think, oh no,
You're
not
too
Jewish
in it.
and my client's Jewish.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even.
You're
really
in work
think
mode
about
all the
myself.
time.
Yeah,
100%.
I can understand that. There's got to be some separation for someone like you who's in that mode all the time. That's probably not a very effective way of meeting people. It's just you can't separate.
Exactly. But that's why I do really, rely on my friends and my matchmaker friends to say, if you do see anyone that would be a good fit for me, let me know.
Yeah.
Do you matchmakers match each other?
Yeah.
Are you in the pool for somebody else to match with their clients instead?
I'm not in the pool for someone else to match me with their clients, and that's solely because we don't want to make that confusing, and we only want it to be match up if it was the exact right perfect fit. And that's same for my friends. So they always say, oh, match me up with one of your clients. And I'm like, of course I will, if I have a client that right when I meet him I think you are the perfect fit for Heather or so.
That brings a good point up. What makes somebody the perfect fit for somebody else? Because again, like I said, I was set up with somebody and I went out with him last night.
I cannot wait to hear.
We need to talk about that.
So what for you resembles a perfect match?
Yeah, it all depends on what you're looking for and what both parties are looking for. During a meeting with a potential match, I go into things such as your family background, how you grew up, what you valued, what you value now in a relationship, and then those kind of big things. Do you want kids? Does religion matter to you at all?
You ask all the hard questions
Oh,
that you don't want to ask on the first date, because then you're like, that's awkward, but you want to know.
I ask those questions. I don't even care anymore at this point. But I think, if you were to start dating again, and you, I'm sure, have done this and throughout your relationship now, it's like, at this point, we're in our 30s. And what else are you going to talk about? When I think about what I can talk about, I'm like, well, I could talk about my show, but that's going to be awkward because you're going to now ask me a million questions about dating and relationships, which is weird. I'm not here to teach you. But then the other things are like, cool, I got a new dog. What I do hosting and producing and whatever with Lauren. Awesome. We could talk about Lauren all day. Great. That's again not about me.
Right.
So like then it's like we could talk about the movies that came out. What are you going to really talk about to actually gauge each other?
Yeah,
It's like,
and this is the
you have to talk about personal stuff.
Yeah, and like just because you're asking somebody, this is where I think women in LA who play games, and we're just saying that because we're talking about the differences in like where location and all that. Like, I feel like I know a lot of women that do this. It's like, just because I'm asking you if you want to have kids on a first date doesn't fucking mean I want to have kids with you.
Right.
I'm asking you if you want to do it. So I know. It's not like I'm proposing that we impregnate me tonight.
Right.
I just want to know, is that what you want? General question.
It's a tough topic because people can jump to conclusions and think that you're asking things about them personally, but you really just want to know. I think that's the beauty of working with a matchmaker, is that when we ask them it's very unassuming. It's very much talking about them, not in terms of another person.
Yeah. It's like a questionnaire.
Right, exactly.
You're like, just give me the stats.
Exactly.
And great. Now we have the info to
Right.
use
And then
maybe.
when we're matching people up, we can match people up that actually have those same values, so that you don't have to have that awkward conversation on a first date. You already know that about the other person, and they already know that about you.
And that's great.
Which is a beautiful thing.
And that makes sense. So Jen's date, on paper, everything, all those things were done. All those boxes were checked because it was all done through your services, which is great. Now we know those things, those important things. The chemistry is what has to just happen on their own. And so, Jen, tell us about...
Okay, so on paper, he sounded like a perfect guy for me. I'll just describe him without, obviously giving too many details. He's a tall Jewish guy that comes from a family, and he has similar interests to me, and he's hardworking. He's a producer. He's got a real job. So, if my ideal, let's just say, is Mr. Big, and for a variety of reasons, not because of their tumultuous love affair for 10 years, but because of who he was, as far as he had a career. He was sexy, he wanted to travel, he would wine and dine her, but he was also he had a warmth to him. So he wasn't just a cookie cutter finance guy. He had a very strong personality that
depth.
Right. And to me, I would like that guy. For sure. His personality was somebody I would definitely like. I know people are like, oh, Big or Aiden. Aiden's not my guy.
No.
I'm sorry, I want to kill him.
I agree with you.
Yeah, he's a little
the
too,
planet.
He's
Big
a
is
little
a
too
man.
soft.
Right.
Yeah.
And Aiden's too it's something accommodating and cheesy and not accommodating in the way that I wouldn't want a guy that plays games or treats me poorly, but he was too soft and had no backbone.
You're giving me
It was he was
anxiety.
almost like a beta. He was a beta, and Big was an alpha, and I like alphas that are also human.
All right, have emotions and can open up.
Because I'm an alpha, but I can also become a beta with an alpha, or vice versa. I think you just trade roles depending on the circumstance or what you're better at. So I like Big in the sense of the word. But
so you thought this guy was big?
I was hoping he would be something like that because of all the boxes he checked off, and he's Jewish and tall. That's a rarity.
What'd you
That
think?
is a rare.
And the fact that he enlisted a matchmaker means that he's serious about finding a relationship, and he's 34. So I was great. This guy is all of the makings of success.
Okay, wait.
So
You first see him. What is
he
your
picks me up.
initial thought?
Nice.
Okay, so he picks me up. I was okay, great, hi. But we're in the car, and I the reason I let him pick me up was because I wanted to see what he would do and what his mannerisms were, and if he was awkward, and if he would open the door, and all kinds of things. So, and because you guys vet him, he wasn't a perfect stranger, and that would be weird if somebody from an app picked me up, but I would think. But so this guy picks me up. We're going to the restaurant. The drive is fine. We get to the restaurant, and I just sort of feel like he's scattered, or kind of rushing, or not that interested. He wasn't he was making eye contact, but kind of all over the place. I almost felt like it was a business meeting.
Okay.
And then we were talking though, and we were getting sort of into our careers and a little bit about our families and our what we're doing this weekend because President's Day is coming up. What we both did for Valentine's Day, but I sort of felt it was like a ping pong match of like business versus like I want to know you because I'm interested in you. And it did really feel like he like was on a time frame, like he had to go or like wasn't into me, so it was like rushed. It was like, we're gonna order this, do you know what you want? Okay, great, we're gonna get that. Okay, done, great. It wasn't like, do you want to share anything? It wasn't like leisurely, and we went to a place that actually is kind of cozy and romantic. We went to Taste, which I really like, and it's near me, so it's like felt familiar, and like I thought, great, this is gonna be a nice like leisurely dinner. No, he picked me up at like 8:20. We were at the restaurant by 8:30. We were out. I was home by 10.
Whoa.
Wow.
It was that fast.
Did you, okay, besides the fact that he seemed scattered, which maybe he was nervous, still, okay, fine, great. Did you feel like had that been removed, and let's just chalk it up to nerves, just give the benefit of the doubt, would you go out with him again?
I would go out with him again because I would give him a second chance. He wasn't a murderer, and he wasn't like, he wasn't horrendous.
So you think.
Well, he could very well be a murderer, I don't know. But he seemed very detached and very disinterested. And I don't know if maybe that's something that is not the case, and he just portrayed that.
Yeah.
But maybe he needs to work on that if he's interested. I don't think he is, because the way he said goodbye was very much like, this was great, so great meeting you, like whatever. And I was like, okay, like have a great like
Do you think
President's
he's
Day
cute?
trip. Well, he said to me, he's like, okay, yeah. I was like, have a great President's Day trip. He's like, yeah, I'll be back on Wednesday. I'm like, okay, like also like good luck with your car, because his car had issues. I'm like, hope that goes well. He's like, okay. And no, and he also told me like at some point that he was like, still sick and like getting over it, so like he didn't try and kiss me. So like I was like, okay. And like then he sort of like shooed me out, and I was like, bye.
Okay, but what did you, would you want him to kiss you?
Okay,
Did you?
so I would have wanted, the part of the reason I like said he could drive me was because if he wanted to kiss me, great, that's an opportunity. And like I would rather know sooner than later if there's chemistry or not. Like I'm somebody, I'll kiss on the first date just to know and get that out of the way. But and I was hoping that maybe there would be chemistry despite the nerves, or maybe he was preoccupied, or I don't really know. I don't know if he went on this date because the matchmaker said, you have to go on this date, and he had to fulfill that. Maybe he had already been set up with X amount of girls, and maybe he liked the one before, and he just still had to fulfill this date.
No.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I was going to ask you now,
tell
so
us
what's your role in this process? Or I mean, it wasn't you who set us up. It was a different matchmaker from the 3-day rule. Now, what's like the onset? Like you get a client, and then what happens from there, and then moves forward, and then when do you leave the process?
And also, you, after the date, everyone reports,
Right. So this is amazing because I'm already getting date feedback from you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Walk us through this whole
Which is going to
thing.
be extremely helpful. So when we start with a new client, we do that kind of initial meeting that I was starting to tell you about. We ask all those basic questions about what they're looking for, what they're attracted to, those kind of intangibles of chemistry, if you can define it at all. And then kind of to answer your question of, did he just need to get a date done and that kind of mentality? No, never. All we want to do is find love for our clients. That's our end goal. So if he had met someone on a date right before he was supposed to be set with you, we'd say, oh my gosh, don't go out with the next girl. If you're feeling it with this first woman,
because they report back after every date.
Definitely.
Okay, so you would know.
We are very close with our clients. They text us, call us, email us. We get drinks with them. So in the case of this guy, we probably met up with him again just to get to know him even better. I have no idea if you were first match or last match or what the number was there, but I do know when we set you up on a date, he's ready and single and wants to find love out of that date.
You would know if he was like hitting it off with another chick.
I mean, 100%, because that's something that I want to kind of facilitate.
Of course.
Help. And if he's unsure about this first woman, let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. Why are you unsure?
And you won't send them on another date until they figure that out. Got it. Great.
Never.
Good to know.
Good to know. Well, so in this case, okay, so we went on this date. Now, let's take me out of this, or we'll use me as the example. But so he's going to report back to this matchmaker. I'm going to report back to this matchmaker. And then what happens from there?
We feel it out. So if you gave us that feedback and then he came back to us and he was like, no, she was amazing. I felt such a chemistry. Honestly, I haven't dated for 8 years. That was the first date I've been on in 8 years.
It felt like he hasn't dated a lot.
I was going to ask if you know how, when his last relationship was.
I don't. Okay. And it seemed almost like he doesn't know how to date because he didn't feel open. Like he felt like a business relationship.
Right.
And kind of just going through the motions.
Right. we'll give you some feedback on that. Everything you just described, it sounds like he hasn't dated in a long time, especially if he's a producer and a successful producer at the age range that you are going for. He's probably been a workaholic for the past 7 years.
Yeah.
Would be my
That's actually the amount.
guess.
And if
that's
it
the
felt-
amount of years.
And if
so.
it felt businessy to you, maybe it's because that's just where he's comfortable.
Right.
You know?
And 100%. And I've been there too, where like it's hard to switch out.
Yeah.
Like, you know, your job maybe ends at 6 or 7, or maybe he was on a call right before he picked me up, or maybe he's got something on his mind where he's got to get to it when he gets home. So
Right.
like he's still in that zone
Yeah.
where maybe meditating beforehand would have helped. I don't really know. I don't know. But he wasn't like, I could feel he wasn't open. And like I judged myself while I was there because I like do that. I like went above
And that's
myself.
the last
and,
thing we want you to do.
well, it was more like I was like watching it from above because I'm like questioning like where I'm at in my process, and like people will say, well, you're just not ready yet. Okay, well, I am. And actually
she is.
people have said I am, but I'm like watching myself and I'm like, wow, I'm smiling. I feel that like I'm open. I'm like in it. I'm just like, hey, what's going on? I was like talking about stuff. I was like completely just on a date in my world. He felt like closed off, just you know, like getting, it was like, he almost felt New York-ish, where he was just trying to like speed date.
Okay.
But like it was speed meeting.
Right.
Not
Well,
speed date.
The beauty of working with 3-Day Rule and working with a matchmaker is that, like you just said, we get to hear the feedback. So if you're telling us this, we will go back to him. We'll ask him how it went, what he thought, what he liked, what he didn't like. And then the matchmaker that worked with you will give you a call and just kind of chat with you about potentially his feedback. If he thought it did go well, she'll definitely say to you, hey, he was interested, even though he was acting nervous, definitely give it another shot. He's probably going to reach out to you again. It really could go far because he seemed very intrigued. Or she'll give you the feedback of, you know, he didn't feel a connection, and, you know, definitely keep that friendship. You never know if he has friends that could be a good person for you and vice versa. But it's nice to have that matchmaker give you the feedback so you can learn about yourself as a dater and maybe realize some things that you're doing that you're not even realizing
It
yourself.
does
Which
help.
I love.
Yeah, it does help because at the end of the day, you're probably 90% right about vibes and interpretations and narratives and all that. But you'd be surprised because even like with my boyfriend, he'll say something to me sometimes and I'm like, what? You just said this sentence, those words put together equal this definition. It's English. Okay? He is like, but that's not my interpretation, or you said something, that's not how I interpreted it. So even if someone's acting or looking a certain way, or you think you're being a certain way, every person has their own eyes and interprets it in their own way for whatever's going on in their life or just the way they're seeing things. So all of that in the beginning, even as you're like, even with somebody, it's a constant process.
Oh, yeah.
There's no, I mean, you could think I'm shut off and I'm whatever. So, but someone else might not see you that way.
Right.
Or what, so it's like there's
It's almost
that
like a
too.
fly on the wall.
Definitely.
And I think that's the thing that
Yeah.
we're all, what we wish we had, it was like even like a camera so we could like replay the tapes and be like, did I say something? Like, was it a thing? Like, maybe I thought I was open in this and that and the other thing, and he might have thought like, oh no, like she's obviously not looking for something, or like who knows what he thought.
Right.
I could have done something that made him shut down. Granted, I'm not him, and I don't. Maybe he's got an insecurity for something that like I might have touched on, or whatever it was. He was actually like really very focused on something that happened with a friend, and so he brought it up, and it was pertaining to this weekend of President's Day. It was a trip, and his friend backed out last minute, and he was all upset. And I actually gave him advice, and he's like, "Wow, that's actually like really good advice."
Oh,
and
well, that's great.
Yeah, but then at some point I was like, well, am I your therapist? Like, now I'm like, you seem closed off. You seem like you need a lot of help with friends and stuff, too. Like, maybe you actually are quite damaged, or, like, don't have a lot of experience with humans anymore because you're so focused on work. It just felt like...
all things to consider, but
all things.
It's, you know.
Right.
It is what it is. And like, okay, so now let's just say I'm thrown back into your dating pool. What's next for me? Does that same matchmaker then, like, let's just say other girls out there want to be part of the 3-Day Rule dating pool, or you do take female clients, right?
Oh, yes. We take male and female clients. So we really just work for our paid member and essentially
And then
recruit
pull from a
for
pool.
them.
Yeah.
To find the best matches. But I'm going to quickly go back to what you said, kind of thinking in your own head. I always recommend, people when they do go on a first date, you might think that you're acting really cool and open and that type of thing, and kind of start reading into the way they're acting. But I always say never ever judge a first date as if it's a marriage proposal. You really don't know what that person's going through, so just kind of take it as it is. Don't overlook yourself. and just kind of go confident. So kind of going back to that.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's good advice. It's hard not to do that because it feels so serious. Like you're like, I want to make this happen. Like, you know, and you got to get that timeline out of your brain. It's hard to do, but I think
also when you've been on like a bazillion dates, like at some point, there's not a formula to them, but there are things that people do if they're interested.
There's a science a little bit to it.
A little bit. Like, I mean, there's a body language. There's like a thing that you might say. Like, you might say, I've had fun. Let's do this again.
Right.
You know, like
he didn't say that.
He did not say that.
But I think, can I just interject for a second? When you have the safety of a matchmaker, he knows he's going to email this matchmaker or talk to this matchmaker and say, like, I think this, and that you're going to say I think this, and then the middleman is going to facilitate something. So with that safety net there, maybe because of the situation, it feels a little less like, not that he's not going to have to do this all on his own, but he's not on his own. So maybe he didn't feel like in that moment he had to say, like, I'm going to take you out again, because he knows there's like a bunch of different people working in his favor.
Right, and it could have been nerves. It could have been so many different things. So that is good for you to tell us the feedback.
And he might wanted to like talk to the matchmaker about something first before he said anything.
Right.
Well, so we'll see. But so now you guys also have like actual events people can go to, right?
Yes.
You just had one here.
Or no, there's one coming up also too.
We just had one last night, and we had one on Saturday.
Amazing. Okay, so what are they?
Just kind of singles events. You get to mingle and meet as many people as possible. They're so much fun. I was there at the Saturday one until almost 12:30, and it started at like 8 or so.
Fun.
So it was so much fun. You get to meet all the interesting people, and the one kind of similar factor that everyone has is that they're single.
Totally.
So, my biggest kind of line that I always say is, even if it doesn't work out with you and that person you're talking to, they probably have friends.
Right.
So keep that connection and keep friends with them, because you never know who's going to set you up with who.
You never know. I mean, I ask, Lord knows, everybody. But now we actually have to dive into our game of the day.
Yes, we do.
And it is called Match Point.
Yes.
You are a matchmaker, and since you're so good at matchmaking, we're going to test your memory skills.
Oh, God.
It's like, matching, memory game, like when you're a kid, it's like, it has to do with memory, remembering things, and matching things up.
Yeah. So we're going to call our celebrities that are on round 2 of a serious public relationship. Yeah. Now, let's see if you can remember who they were married to first.
Or dating first.
I'm going to be so bad
and
at
who
this.
they're now with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so this is called Match Point, and we're going to see how many you get, and we're going to drink through it.
Yeah, we're going to drink through it.
How do you play a game without drinking?
Okay.
All right, so the first one, ready?
Yes.
Gwen Stefani.
I know that she is now dating Blake Shelton.
Okay.
Do you remember who she was married to first?
Was it Gavin?
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Good job.
I'm
Ding,
going
ding, ding.
to drink in celebration of you knowing that.
Okay. So remember, we're going to name the celebrity. You say who they were married to or with first, like publicly, and now who they're with. This is kind of a tricky one because a lot of people don't know this person's dating this person, but maybe you do. Katie Holmes.
I have no idea.
But who was she married to?
I really don't know. I know. I am so
he jumped
bad
on a
at
couch.
this.
He jumped on a couch and he was a crazy person in Scientology.
Oh, Tom Cruise?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
She was married to Tom Cruise, and now she is dating Jamie Foxx.
Oh, wow.
Well, now you need to drink because you didn't
Yeah,
get that.
I do.
Come on, Nora. Okay.
All right, next one. Jennifer Lopez.
She is now dating Drake.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, but good.
Yeah.
She was.
She's married a couple times, but
right,
there was a
half
one.
of the LA world.
Yeah,
Right.
that's fair enough. Mark Anthony was the last big marriage.
Anthony.
He's forgettable, totally.
Come on, you've got it. Kim Kardashian. Who was she last married to? Who was she married to
Or just
now?
pick any person she's been married to.
Well, we know Kanye.
Yeah.
Which I actually love their relationship. I think they're very cute together.
I
It sounds like
agree.
you have a different.
I agree with you. So
And then. What's her ex's
Chris
name?
Humphries.
Yeah, Chris Humphries.
he's forgettable too.
Yeah.
Football player.
Basketball, but whatever.
Reggie Bush before that.
Reggie Bush.
They were
met
just
him
dating.
before.
Really?
Oh, they weren't married. Okay, they were
No,
dating.
but you would be surprised because I feel like she marries everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, now how about Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah, this one's a little bit obscure.
People forget, I think, who he was.
I don't know who he was dating before, but I know he's now married to Blake Lively.
Yeah, he was married to Scarlett Johansson.
Married.
Oh, I
Drink.
didn't know that.
Drink.
Married.
Yeah, they were married. It was like the most obscure relationship. I feel like that's the least funny relationship that I've ever heard of.
Do you know that he was dating Alanis Morissette forever?
Yes.
I did not know that either.
Fuck did she bag him?
I don't know. He was not famous yet, I think, or something.
Well,
I don't
good for
really
him
know.
for Blake. She is.
Okay.
Well, they met on Green Lantern set. Anyway, carry on.
Okay, here's another one that might have a repeat customer in here. Nicole Kidman. First husband, second husband.
God, you guys are so hard.
You know this person. We
Yeah.
just talked about this crazy person.
She was married to him for a really long time.
Scientology.
Oh, Tom Cruise again?
Yes.
Yeah.
No way.
Gets around.
Oh, wow. And now the country singer.
Yes.
Keith Urban,
Keith
who
Urban.
always fucking. You are Australian. Both of them are Australian. Keith Urban, why do you sing with a country Southern accent?
Hard to say. But also, why is his hair stick straight and very highlighted?
And highlighted.
Oh, it's bad.
He looks like Ken Paves.
Oh, I think, yes, I also think he looks like Kate from John and Kate +8.
Also true. He also looks like Brandon McMillan, the snake charmer.
Oh, God.
Anywho.
That was someone she dated later.
We'll have him on the show one day. That'll
God.
be fun. Khloe Kardashian.
So she was dating Lamar.
Married. Yes, good. Proud of
and
you.
now she's dating the guy in the cab.
What? You know this. Good.
Who's I think he's younger than her.
Oh, yeah,
Maybe.
maybe.
Seems to
Maybe
go
she's
younger.
a cougar. Tristan Thompson
Tristan
is his
Thompson.
name.
I think
Which is
she's
a cute name.
25.
Oh, man. Well,
Or 26.
they might be engaged
I
soon,
can't
so
watch
who knows?
sports.
I know.
events. I
She keeps
cannot-
doing those kind of spoilers with the fake rings type of
Like,
thing.
Dude, I can't
interesting.
watch sporting events anymore because I'm
All the
like,
Kardashians have
who?
dated them?
No, well, not that. Because I'm like, who is that guy? That guy's fucking hot. And then I'm like, wow, he's 23.
Right,
They all are.
I know. It's
They all
crazy.
are.
Same with the voice. These singers come
Yeah.
up there and I'm like, oh my God, you're 18.
Well, and you know what? Now they lowered it to 13.
Wow.
Stop.
Yeah, it's like, stop it. No, stop
Okay,
it
we're
with
gonna
the
do a couple
stoppiness.
more. Okay, you guys. Ashton Kutcher, first wife, second wife.
You can do this.
You can do it.
I don't know his first wife, but I know his
Cougar.
current wife.
First wife was
Mila.
Cougar.
Cougar.
Bruce Willis and
I don't know.
Maybe
this
she
guy.
was
Ghost.
Maybe her name's Demi Moore.
Maybe
Oh my
she's
gosh,
Demi Moore.
okay, wow.
Remember they were
You
married
drink your
forever.
wine.
Yeah, you
You're
know
in
what,
trouble.
Nora?
You
Come on.
need to start
All
your
right,
day
one
with
more.
wine.
Let's do one more. You
All
pick.
right. Nick Lachey.
Oh Jesus.
You can do this.
I honestly don't know.
No,
this
yes,
guy.
there was a show called
Newlyweds?
Newlyweds. And somebody that he was married to ate chicken with the sea. Am I eating chicken or
Oh
am I
my
eating
gosh.
fish?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
No, chicken or tuna.
That.
Jessica Simpson.
Jessica
She's
Simpson.
forgettable.
And then the one
she's
she's
forgettable.
dating now, he's married
Married.
to, is it Burnett?
Yes.
Yeah, she's great.
I don't know that.
You drink. She's like,
Vanessa.
already
I'm
outside,
drinking,
drink.
yeah,
Vanessa's
here we
like,
go.
I'm in the doghouse here.
Vanessa
so-
Manillo Lachey.
Yes.
I
They
knew I would be
are
bad at this
married
game.
and now have 3 children.
Yes, they do.
See, there is life after first marriages.
There
I
is.
actually do think I
Right.
might be a second wife.
Second Wives Club. What's
I'm
wrong
okay
with that?
Nothing's wrong with that at all.
You're essentially a second wife because I mean your guy never married the baby mama, but he might as well have.
He might as well. I mean, he has a child, so whatever.
Yeah.
There was a past very serious situation that
Right.
he has, and so yeah, it's like Second Wives Club or whatever. You take on the role of whatever you can in their situation, and that I was a nanny for 15 years, so it's not totally out of my league, but yeah, I mean, he has a daughter, and I always say my favorite thing about him is her, and my favorite thing about her is him. So
I love that. No,
Yeah,
when
it's
I'm
great.
matching people up, and specifically someone who has been divorced before, a lot of people actually ask for that because it shows that the man has committed before.
I
and that
want
he
it.
understands what he wants.
And also, I'm going to be better than whatever treated him terribly
love that
before.
mentality, and I
so
love
I'm
that
like,
confidence.
and I'll be
Well.
so nice to you, and like I'll be like complimentary and like sweet and appreciate you and stuff. So
and
like,
you would be surprised how naturally that stuff comes when you actually like somebody, and
Right.
thinking about past situations that people have dealt with, divorces or children or whatever. It's like some of the shit you hear that they've been through or whatever is a little crazy. And if you really just like this person and you really just want to be that, you truly like love them and who they are and what comes with them, none of that is hard. Divorced, child, whatever,
Right.
it just is what it is.
Right.
Right.
And I think it kind of gives people a reality check.
Yeah.
A divorce is a hard thing to go through.
Yeah.
So when they're looking for the next relationship, they're not looking for a quick lust and something that's just going to be fun. They're looking for that partner for life. And
Yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
that is something to really look for.
And I feel like they do have like sort of like not shame, but there is a little bit of shame that comes with divorce. Like I did this public thing. I got married. In front of all of our friends, we posted all these things on social media. We had did the years of being together and this public experience, and then to say like, well, you married the wrong person when the idea of marriage is forever and always and better and worse and that whole nonsense.
The
But
feeling of failure is a real thing for a man, and I
Yeah.
know that from personal experience that is something that plagues a man's brain. I don't want to say ego, because people get ego confused with like being conceited. Your thought, your mind is your ego. So something that plagues a man, I think, commonly is the feeling of failure. And whether or not you're in a really long-term relationship that was very public with all your friends, or it was a marriage, or there's a child that came out of something, that feeling of failure is scarring to a man, more so than to a woman, I think, mostly. So that's it. Like you're saying, touching on that, divorced or not, like, it's hard to get through that.
But I think kind of the beauty of that is once they do feel that failure, the next relationship they're going into, again, they're going to be more serious. They don't want to fail again.
Right, exactly. So that's
you can
why
almost feel more secure.
I'm here.
That they're ready and they're serious.
I think that is a good advice. So before we let you go, tell us what you think the biggest problem or issue that has to do with singles these days. Like, what's plaguing singledom of Los Angeles?
Oh God, I think the biggest problem is that we're always looking for something better, and we've heard that a lot. But on top of that, when we are looking for something better, we're going to the apps. And I hate to say it, but I think the apps are the biggest problem, because it's kind of begun this game mindset. You're sad on a Sunday night. You're watching TV, you'll go to your app and you'll get a ding, 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 and you'll see this kind of fictitious character that you're never actually going to meet come up on your screen. You'll have that instant gratification for the night. The next morning you'll want it again. That's not giving you the long-term answer. I really do think the long-term answer is organic connections, meeting people in person, or meeting them through a matchmaker, so that you're really knowing who you're about to meet, not just meeting them because you both like golden retrievers.
I don't disagree with that. All right, that is great advice. I think you're kind of spot on. Nora, where can everyone find you?
On social media or at the 3 Day Rule, wherever.
Yeah, my social media is Matched by Nora, so you should definitely go that's on Instagram, and then you can go to www.3dayrule.com and sign up. If you want to work specifically with me, just say you were referred by Nora, and I will give you a call and we can meet up.
And that you heard about her from It's Complicated. That's right, you guys. And make sure that you tune in next week for our guest photographer, Anna Ochoa. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Complicated Show, too.
No, and don't forget to tell a friend about the show if you haven't yet, because everyone needs to know what's going on in the world of dating and relationships. We appreciate you guys supporting us. Don't forget, 5 stars in the App Store.
Keep the comments coming. All right, John, where can everyone find you?
You can find me at Jennifer Golden on all of the social media platforms. And where can people find you?
You can find me at Lauren Leonelli on all of the socials as well. All right, guys, thank you so much, and we will see you next week.
Love you long time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
I need to be set up with a real person